Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Giant Take podcast. Already, it's draft coverage time. If you're new here, welcome in. I'm Josh. I'm joined by my friend and co-host Alex. We're going to have some fun. We're going to preview the Senior Bowl. And Alex, I guess, first of all, we're recording this on Sunday night right after the Chiefs are going for the Chief Pete, as Jim Nantz and Tony Romo were talking about, and they're going to try and win 3 Super Bowls in a row against Philadelphia Eagles. And we kind of texted a little bit back and forth and kind of came to the conclusion that if you asked both of us in the beginning of this playoffs, what would be the 2 worst teams in the AFC and NFC side that we wouldn't want to be in this position, it'd be the Chiefs and Eagles. And that's where they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl in 2 Sundays from now. So excited to watch that. Excited to watch Kendrick Lamar and SZA on the halftime show, and really hope for a Chiefs win. I'm in like all the friends group chats right now, and everyone's saying, go Birds, go Eagles. They don't want that three-peat. And I'm rooting my ass off for the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. I don't care. I'm never going to choose, unless it was the Commanders, I'm never going to choose the Cowboys or Eagles, those 2 NFC teams, NFC East teams specifically, to win in the Super Bowl. Why would I ever do that? I will be very surprised to find a single Giants fan who's rooting for the Eagles in this game just so the Chiefs don't pull off the three-peat. So be it, the Chiefs pull off the three-peat. They can be a hated team in the league. I don't like them. I wanted the Bills to win today. I wanted them to be out for sure. But at the end of the day, if you're going to tell me as a Giants fan that you want the Philadelphia Eagles to win, I will question your fandom of this franchise. You're not a true New York Giants fan if you want the Eagles to beat the Chiefs just because of the hate towards Patrick Mahomes, or you're done with them, or whatever it may be. Alex, how are you? What are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, doing well, Josh. I think it's not a very fun matchup, obviously, for obvious reasons. And it's a very unexciting Super Bowl, even just for the general public as well. I mean, I was talking to some of my friends here who are not, Giants fans or don't have any leanings one way or another based on division. And they're like, this game sucks. Like, this is not going to be a fun Super Bowl. This is not a Super Bowl I'm looking forward to watching, excuse me. So it's especially bad for the Giants fans, of course, but it's not fun for anyone. So if that makes us Giants fans feel better, I guess I'll put that out there. But yeah, obviously biggest Chiefs fan, excuse me. And it doesn't matter if they've won 10, 1, no Super Bowls. I will be rooting for them no matter what, and hoping for the Eagles' demise, because that is what we do. The Empire State Building was lit up green again for no apparent reason whatsoever. And that really pissed me off. So that was something I just saw a couple minutes before we hopped on.
Maybe it's because the Empire State Building hasn't seen a New York championship of any sport in a while now.
True.
Maybe that's it. So they're just hopping.
Got to go to neighboring cities.
Representing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. So normally what we do here is, for those of you who are new, I guess, or, your returners, that we debate on this show. We bounce back and forth on this show. And that is something that we love doing, but just for this episode specifically, we're not going to be, because of the numerous amount of players we are going to touch on in the Senior Bowl. So to inform you the best to our ability without keeping you here forever, we're just going to kind of rotate back and forth, listing the players that you should look out for in this year's Senior Bowl, as along with giving you the reasons why, their strengths, maybe some of their weaknesses to look out for. And that will be our episode today. Alex, anything I missed, didn't touch on?
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll touch very quickly East-West Shrine Bowl. Shedeur Sanders, Brian Daboll dapping each other up. Take that for what you will. A lot of rumors going around. Obviously, it looked like they were chatting. They met with him pre-practice, even though he's, of course, not participating in the practices. So that is something, I guess, to keep an eye on from that front. Just wanted to make that clear before we get into Senior Bowl stuff.
All right, so let's do it. We'll start out with the quarterback position, a very big position of need. We start out with the first guy, Jackson Dart out of Mississippi, someone the Giants were rumored to maybe draft in the second round if they draft someone like Travis Hunter in the first round and get that quarterback. 21 years old, 6'2", 225 pounds, 4,279 yards, 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year. His strengths: ability to run and throw, so throw on the run, ability to make plays on his feet, a strong arm, he can make long throws. Weaknesses: bad decisions when under pressure, and offense was dependable at Ole Miss a lot on RPO action, moving from Dart to another maybe second-round talent in Jalen Milroe, the Alabama quarterback, 22 years old, 6'2", 225 pounds. His name is someone that if you are an avid listener or watcher, whatever it may be, you heard him in our way too early quarterback rankings that we did a few months ago. I would say still in there in that top 5 conversation, although the touchdown to interception ratio this past year was not great. 2,844 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, 11 INTs. So 5 difference between touchdowns and interceptions. His positives, though: explosive dual threat quarterback capable of making big play with his running ability, dynamic arm talent to push the football vertically and outside of the numbers. He's also well built, proportionate frame with tremendous play strength. Again, 6'2", 225. So a taller QB there, not the tallest, but he's definitely a bigger guy, got some muscle on him to make some plays happen. Next quarterback, Will Howard of The Ohio State University. So, if you follow college football at all, you know that he is a champion now of college football, as Ohio State won the championship this year just a couple weeks ago now, or a week ago, I guess at this point. 23 years old, 6'4", 236 pounds, helped lead his team all the way to the finish line with 4,010 yards, 35 touchdowns, and just 10 interceptions. The positives that Howard brings, where he's now rising up the draft boards, I'm sure: plus level athleticism and mobility, capable of making plays on the move. He's a good arm talent that's probably going to be able to make numerous NFL throws when he gets there, inside and outside of the pocket, and well-experienced player. He's played for a lot of time, 1,800 yards currently, dropbacks, or not yards, 1,800 dropbacks in his collegiate career. Negatives: limited putting the football in harm's way, and also throws some turnover-worthy plays. Lower body mechanics, lack consistency on dropback, so he can have those heel clicks when climbing out of the pocket, trip himself up a little bit. And he's going to be 24 as a rookie. So, he's viewed as a prospect, but he might already be near kind of his ceiling right now, and his prime might be starting, which is good for some NFL teams, earlier than normal rookies who would be kind of working out the kinks, but he's going to start out at 24. So that's the deal there. And that's the deal with the top quarterbacks in this year's Senior Bowl. Alex, take it away with your hog mollies, your O-linemen that I know you always love to touch on.
Yeah, getting into it, obviously I think it's one of the most important aspects of the Senior Bowl is kind of the O-line, D-line competition. Obviously the quarterback position is always the flashy one, but in terms of drills, I feel like the practices are not as important for those guys as it is for the guys in the trenches. So I'll get into it, though, with Wyatt Millam of West Virginia. He is a really, really strong player, can really steer defenders kind of away from the ball in both the run and pass game. Very solid athletic ability, has good burst, and can climb to the second level quite effectively. Negatives for him: he definitely has a little bit of stiffness in his lower body, and he's not super quick laterally, and can kind of make way for some of the faster, more athletic edge rushers that we will probably see, or that he'll probably see. Next up, Tate Ratledge from Georgia, 23 years old, 6'6", 320. Positives for him: he plays with a really good low pad level, has good leverage, and very good play strength. He has a really nice anchor against the bull rush. For negatives, kind of leans into contact a little bit with double teams, leaving him kind of susceptible to getting push-pulled and also shed quickly by some of these quicker edge rushers, and also is a little late with some of his strike timing as well. Jonah Savania, I believe is how you pronounce it, out of Arizona, 6'5", 336. Positives for him: he has a really nice wide-bodied frame, and he's able to really get out of his stance to the first to the second level in the running game, also in pass protection, and can line up as a puller. Negatives for him: not the most athletic guy, agility not quite at the peak NFL level. And then he also struggles to kind of rotate his feet and transition into an anchor with some more powerful rushers as well. And those are our three guys, Josh, on the offensive line. And now, just as important, moving to the defensive line.
Yeah, absolutely. Those interior defensive linemen, something that you might say, well, the Giants have edge rushers and Dexter Lawrence in the middle there, but they can always use someone to pair with him. And we'll start with Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, 21 years old, 6'3", 304 pounds. The positives for him: solid size and impressive strength with decent athleticism for a D tackle. Strong and physical at the point of attack for sure as well. He's also able to use that to help gain leverage and advantage over those offensive linemen. The negatives for him, though: has a habit of standing up and getting out of his stance occasionally. That would hurt his pad level and leverage, which we'll see in the one-on-ones or whatever O-line, D-line drills they might do if that gets exposed. Also, as a pass rusher and run defender, his hands can be a little late and wide, allowing offensive line to get right on his chest, and then not really much you could do after that. Dion Walker out of Kentucky, 6'6", 345 pounds. The next guy I'll talk about here. His positives: great size. He also moves well for that size, heightening his ceiling at the next level. Again, 6'6" is how tall he is, almost 350 pounds. Against the run, he has the upper body strength to lock out any offensive lineman and shed blocks as well. He's shown swim and hunt moves to get off his blocks too. Negatives for Walker out of Kentucky: consistency throughout the game, a major issue. His conditions need improvement. Could benefit from some weight management. He'll show laziness either at the beginning of games to conserve energy or at the end when he runs out of gas. Now, you might be 6'6", but that 350 pounds is definitely weighing you down. And when you're playing football, which is an electric game, and you have to keep your energy throughout, maybe at the next level, he might drop weight. We'll see. But the next negative I have: stands up out of his stance and plays with very high pad level. That sometimes can cause him issues against offensive linemen who play with good leverage and combo blocks or double teams. With that being said, we move on to our next player, Omar Norman Lott out of Tennessee, 22 years old, 6'3", 315, solid size, good athlete with some quickness and the twitch off the line. Impressive get off as well. Like I just said, he accelerates off the line, off the line of scrimmage well to get penetration onto those offensive linemen and to the running backs out of the backfield along with the quarterbacks. Negatives for him: subpar lower body strength to anchor and hold his gap against the run. He also reduces the effectiveness of his bull rush and then turns his shoulder when taking on blocks, which makes it much easier for those old linemen to wheel him out of his gap. Now, Alex, I just talked about, the Giants have, strong edge rushers, but something when we touched on our interview with Bobby Skinner of Talking Giants was, well, you know what? Why not get another edge rusher? There's nothing better than having a very, very solid, if not one of the best edge rusher groups in the league. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns are solid players. But, why not add another player at that position, right? So let's go through our edge rushers in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, exactly, Josh. You can never have enough good edge rushers in the NFL. I feel like that's been seen time after time. It's been seen in Giants history, as we talked about with Bobby a little while ago, a couple episodes back. So it's definitely something that is prevalent on Giants fans' mind. And starting with Mike Green out of Marshall, 6'4", 248. Really, really great production as a pass rusher. Led the FBS in sacks this season. He's also a really impressive athlete. His acceleration off the line of scrimmage, he's able to win with speed, either rushing the passer or getting penetration against the run. Negatives for him: he's a little thin and a wiry frame. Needs to add some size and bulk to go up against some of those NFL offensive tackles. And with that, his upper body strength is also a little bit subpar. Next, Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M. He's 21 years old, 6'6", 285. Positives for him: he's got great size, great length for an NFL defensive end. And he's also able to move excellently for his large size. And he's also got great strength at the point of attack, really long arms and length, which is very important for the edge rusher position. And he's able to set the edge really well, which is something that is often not seen out of a lot of these college prospects. And for the negatives for him, not a lot of pass rush production throughout his college career, only 4.5 sacks over 3 years. So a sack and a half a year on average. His use of hands as a pass rusher is also poor. So definitely needs to get coached up at the NFL level. And that's something that hopefully scouts are taking into account in terms of his potential going forward. And the final edge guy we have is Landon Jackson out of Arkansas, 22 years old, but 6'7", 280 pounds. Great length and size, obviously. Definitely has a room on his frame to grow also in terms of bodybuilding. And he is an excellent run defender, physical at the point of attack, and takes on blocks with very good or decent-ish leverage for someone of his size. And negatives for him definitely could be a little slow, especially laterally, but as someone who's 6'7", 280, can't really complain about that, and definitely lacks some acceleration off the line of scrimmage. So you won't see him win with speed around the edge that often in college or going forward at the NFL level, Josh.
Yeah, Alex, it's crazy. We talked about Deion Walker from Kentucky, the interior defensive lineman who was 6'6", 350. And now you're talking about a guy who is completely different in the way that he's stacking his weight. 6'7", 280 is Landon Jackson. It's just, when I saw that 6'7" player of 280 pounds, I was like, damn, that guy's healthy. So, I wish I could keep up with that level of healthiness. Good for him to stay
being
fit
6'7" would look pretty cool too.
Being 6'7" might be a little too tall.
Too tall. You bang your head and stuff. Yeah.
Comes with positives and negatives, as we're going to go into with the cornerbacks here as well. Starting with Trey Amos of Ole Miss. Notice I say Ole Miss a lot here. They had some good prospects going into this year's draft. 22 years old, 6'1", 190. Positives for him. Good functional strength, plays his size and length, holding up very well against bigger receivers. He has great press technique, showing quick feet and lateral movement to mirror at the line, as well as good hand strike and placement to control receivers. Negatives: his physicality and aggressiveness can cause him to be slower to get his head around and locate the ball. Poor eye discipline that can pull him out of position, allowing receivers to out-leverage or gain a step or two downfield. He also struggles to make up ground when out of position. We move to Iowa State now. Darian Porter, 24 years old, 6'4", 200 pounds. Rare length and size for the cornerback position. Does a very good job of keeping that pad level low. Shows good athletic ability for that size. He also runs well downfield. Shows good burst once he transitions out of breaks. Negatives for Porter. Long strider with tight hips who struggled with change of direction in space. Shows ability to get out the initial break, but then due to length, he has difficult time consistently redirecting himself. He also has tightness, and that can show up when tackling in space. He closes ground quickly, but can be slow to break down and keep leverage on shiftier ball carriers. And then that leaves us with our third and final cornerback and also player we wanted to preview here in our Senior Bowl preview. And that is, I guess I'm just trying to preview without getting this guy's name out here. Zari Thomas, I believe, or Zari Thomas. There's an apostrophe H at the end, so it's kind of hard to read that last name, but I'll say Thomas from Florida State. 20 years old, 6'2", 198 pounds. Athlete with long arms and a good frame. He uses his length well in both the run and pass game. Shows very good body control for his size, with the ability to judge the ball's flight path and ball skills to display great timing through the catch point. Negatives: too often takes poor angles when approaching ball carriers, giving up his leverage, leading to big plays. He also allows free release and press coverage, that is, and while often looking to slingshot back into position. And that's your top three players heading into the Senior Bowl that we're looking forward to, and you should too, at the positions of need for the Giants, which, when I talked to Alex about this beforehand, I was like, what positions of need do you think? He goes, everyone. Just to every position. So I gave as close to that as possible. I disagreed with the running back and wide receivers to be mentioned. So what I chose was quarterback, O-line, interior defensive line, edge rusher, and cornerbacks. Yes, we could have done running back. Yes, we could have done wide receiver. Yes, we could have done safety. But you know what? I mean, at that point, we're going on here for an hour plus. But what's good about this is that we have our preview now of players we're going to watch, and we are going to watch these guys. And at the end of the day, maybe they'll succeed, maybe they won't. Maybe there are those safeties, running backs, or wide receivers that do excel, and they make a big doing on Twitter or other platforms that we find out from scouts or NFL experts, or even our friends at Talking Giants who are going to be there. And we'll update you on that. And that's why we're going to have a recap on this bowl game, along with the East-West Shrine Bowl, which we didn't even preview in this, but that is also happening simultaneously along with the Senior Bowl, with practices throughout the week and games next weekend. A couple of quarterbacks that'll be in there. Alex, you mentioned Shedeur Sanders, and then Kyle McCord as well. I had to mention it. Syracuse faithful in the building. Him, along with multiple Syracuse guys, will be there. LaQuinn Allen, the running back. Alex, you want a running back? LaQuinn Allen's going to this draft, our running back. You have Marlowe Wax. You're talking about edge rusher / linebackers. Marlowe Wax is that guy. Fadil Diggs, another guy on the defensive end. We can keep going with those guys, but I'll save you from that. But Syracuse representing at the East-West Shrine Bowl. I'll be watching them all week for sure.
Josh, here's a fun one before we kind of wrap it up here. You mentioned Darian Porter out of Iowa State. And 6'4", 200, not a very common size for a cornerback. And I was thinking back, obviously we've kind of previewed the Senior Bowl for numerous years now. So I was racking through my brain. I was like, this seems like a very similar scenario. And sure enough, I think about it. Tariq Woolen, obviously now a great cornerback for the Seattle Seahawks, also participated at the Senior Bowl at this exact height and weight. And actually plays very similarly to Porter. And he was named the defensive MVP of the Senior Bowl back in 2022. So could Porter potentially create a similar path? And obviously Tariq Woolen, I believe, was a day 3 pick. Could he be in that area? I think he might be projected a little bit earlier on, but could see a similar career trajectory for Porter. So wanted to bring up that little fun fact, I guess. There you go.
There you go. Fun facts. We love fun facts here. Let's see. I was just going to look it up. I assume no relation to the Porter family, right? No relation.
I would have to imagine no.
To the Joey Porter Jr. family. No, just another Porter out there. I guess common last name. But there we go. There's your little preview for, again, the Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl, East-West Shrine Bowl, along with Senior Bowl stuff going to be happening all week. So we'll keep on top of it. We'll try and retweet, repost, and whatever things we see that we think will be, attractive to Giants fans. We'll let you guys know about it, although we are not there. So it's more like retweeting and kind of reacting to what's going to be happening throughout the week. But we appreciate you for listening and or watching. I know it's not, one of the more typical one of our episodes, but we hope you appreciate the, scouting and guys that we kind of highlighted here today. So thank you so much. I won't waste any more of your time by just saying subscribe below, whatever it may be. And we'll see you in the next one when we recap these games in about a week. Unless breaking news happens before then, maybe the Giants will get some sort of coaching mix-ups. Mike Kafka, by the way, Alex, we didn't talk about that in the beginning of the episode. Continuing to go through these head coaching searches with teams. I don't know if he's going to go anywhere, but, another interview with the Saints. Who knows? So maybe we'll be possible. On the.
We'll see. I don't want to jinx it, so I don't want to say anything.
Maybe we'll be on the lookout for a new offensive coordinator. We'll have to wait and see. For now, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Peace out.